folks, let's look at the weekly Fife Property Market update. This is from the 29th of January to yesterday, the 4th of February. Just bear with me, I'll get some files up in front of me here so we can have a look at some numbers right across the market and where things are going. Here we go, and I'll just share the screen with you right now. So this is right across Fife Property Market for last week. So as I said, it's the first week as far as we're concerned in February. There'll be 4 weeks in February. There was 4 weeks in January as well. We'll also be looking at the monthlies for January. So the monthly for January, this is quite an eye-opener because I tell you what, from what everybody else is telling us in the media, is possibly completely different to what's actually happening in the first month of January 2023. I'm actually really surprised that the numbers have come in at this, but you judge for yourself. That's really what it comes down to. Let me just show you some numbers here. Here we go. Okay, so this is last week, as you'll see there. Now, the total is down the bottom where that behind the managing director sign. Don't worry about that. That's the totals at the bottom. So you'll see last week, look at this. This is the total. 108 actually came on. 132 properties actually sold in the week last week, as opposed to 108 coming on. We are now getting to a position that demand is outstripping supply again. And you know what happened last year and the year before that as well, when this actually happened. But it's quite interesting when we go into the whole of January for last month and what that shows us as well. Because I usually just say 1 week does not make a trend. But in actual fact, January actually shows us clearly the numbers as well. But just look at the numbers. Look at this. Cooper, 7 came on, 13 actually sold. So almost double the amount of properties that actually came on in the Cooper area sold. Eastnewt 2 versus 5, St Andrews 5 versus 4, Leavenmouth 12 versus 9. That's normal for Leavenmouth. Leavenmouth's always been demand outstripping supply for quite a while. Dunfermline 47 came on, 66 sold in the Dunfermline area, 13 versus 9 for Glenrothes, usually the other way around, consistently anyway. Kirkcaldy again shows a different trend, bucks the trend, 22 versus 26 sold. And that's why we've got these overall numbers. This is actually really surprising. I kind of did not expect this, where demand was outstripping supply. So it's quite a revelation to see this right now. And let's talk about that, because there was a number of factors behind this. But interestingly enough, let's look at January now. So this is the previous month. Look at January. 350 came on, 375 sold. Demand outstripping supply for the whole of January from when it came on. Look at the Cooper area, 21 versus 31, Eastnewt 15 versus 16, St Andrews 28 versus 17. That's normal for St Andrews. Leavenmouth, Eden Steams at 40-37. Dunfermline, 138 came on, 158 sold. So demand outstripping supply clearly in Dunfermline. Glenrothes 45 versus 42, Kirkcaldy 63 versus 74. What does this tell us? If you're looking to sell, now is the time, because demand is clearly outstripping supply at this point in time. That's what it tells us clearly here. This is the golden opportunity to go right now, because everyone else is telling us in the media that nothing's happening and the market's slowing down, and yet this does not bear that resemblance at all. Now, this might change in February, but I would definitely say now is the time to go. And the key here is actually, there's a couple of key things that are actually showing us here as well. And I'll pop on to them in a minute. Let's quickly look at what was sold in the week as well. So sold from us over the line. Now, this is Horta Cottage in Dury Street in Leiden. Now, this actually took 3 months. It was a detached 5-bedroom house. And this was offers over 280,000. So again, we're coming out with the same statistics. It's roughly taken round about 6 to 8 weeks to sell a property on average. So this is the other side of that, which took 3 months. Green Loanings at Glenrothes took 5 months to sell. This is a 2-bedroom terraced house. This is offers over 80,000. So this gives you a good idea where that is as well. Again, it took a bit longer. And then you've got Acorn as well in Cellardite. This took 3 months. So this actually falls in line with the fact that we're roughly on average taking 2 months or to sell a property. I mean, there's been some that have actually gone the previous week here and the weeks before within a month, within days. Some actually went before it even got into a social media channel. And we're getting inquiries all the time about properties for that reason. So it marries out and stabilizes round about the 2 months mark to sell a property. So if you're thinking about selling in spring and hoping to move by summer, or if you're looking for summer, hoping to move by August, well, if it takes 2 months and then it takes another 2 months to get through the legal process, or maybe even 3 months, if you're looking to sell right now, you're in February right now. So you're February to March to April to May to June to July. If you put your house on right now, you should expect to conclude in July, which is basically summer. That's where you are right now. If you wait till spring, and you're in April, May, June, July, August, September. So you're into September. You're into autumn. If you're waiting till the spring period. If you're waiting to summer, guess what? You're moving at Christmas. That's when roughly on average your house will take to sell and keys handed over and settled. So this is a clear message to people looking to sell. Just be aware of your timelines and make sure you understand where the market is right now in terms of where you want to move and when you want to move. When you're hoping, if you're wanting to move before the school season starts in a particular area because you're wanting to move to that area, you're sitting in the beginning of August. You need to be in your house by to be settled and ready to go back to school. So if you're moving in August, you're looking round about March, because March, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. So that's where you should be looking for. So really, you've only got about 2 or 3 weeks to get your act together and get your house on the market in order to come in line with that. Now, if somebody comes along and says, I'm going to buy your house, I want it straight away within the next 4-week period, it will still take a solicitor on average to go about 2 months and possibly even 3 months, depending on what type of property it is. It might be an older property. It's been in the family for quite a while. Therefore, maybe the titles have to be sorted out. You've maybe done improvements of it to over the years as well. And then, like you've maybe put an ensuite in, or you've maybe taken a wall down to open plan the kitchen to the dining room. And you don't actually have permission for that because you've not got the right permissions. Again, that's something that's going to delay your timeline, because when that gets to the solicitor stage, that's going to come up somewhere and it's going to delay the actual solicitor process. So we actually give advice to people. We point people in the right direction in order to get things like letters of comfort and authorization, prior authorization. That's kind of a letter of comfort process for the right specialist to be able to do that for you. Now, we've done that previously for a lot of clients. So by all means, please feel free to get in touch with us and we'll walk you through these steps and these processes. This is why it's extremely important at this point in time to get in touch with an estate agent and get them out to consult them to get the right advice. This is not necessarily about a valuation for your house, because we can all come up with the same value, and we more or less will, because we'll probably all do the same. Well, we don't all do the same thing. I've probably proved that time and time again. But we do what we do, and we value based on comparables and sales in the area, and that's where we come to the valuation. And generally, everybody falls in round about that price. The most important thing you want to know is, when is my timeline? Is that achievable? Is there anything I need to do to my house beforehand, or can I just sell it as it is? Or is there any retrospective building warrants I need to get, or letters of comfort for things that have been done many years ago that you didn't actually realise that you probably had to get permission at the time to do, and it will come up in the conveyancing process with the solicitor, which actually will hold up the sale of your house, which could frustrate your buyer, which could end up pulling out and going and buying something else. So you don't want that to happen. And that's why you consult an estate agent right now about that. Well, you consult us about that because we understand that process and how that happens. So I've given you a really good idea. I've given you good advice as well. So hopefully that helps you. And please feel free to message us direct on this post if you want to get in touch with us about that. So what's coming soon? Quickly, I'll just talk about a couple of things here. A couple of articles for people that want to know and know during the week. We actually did yesterday for any landlords, investors out there. Yes, I will be doing a midweek show about is buy-to-let still worth it? Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Myself and Richard Cook will be talking about, is the buy-to-let business still worth it? Because all the draconian legislation that's going in place by the Scottish Government, and is it really worth doing this? So I will be doing that. But we also did a show yesterday, Richard and I, about the landlord lingo buster, part one, setting up your tenancy the right way and keeping your property legal and making sure you're compliant with the legislation right now and abreast of the current legislation that's going on and things that are actually going to happen in 2025 and 2028 as well. And also, one of the ones important I talked about in there is a lot of people will actually have their EPCs running out because they only last 10 years. If you've been in this business for 10 years as a landlord, your EPCs probably run out. So you'll need to get an energy performance certificate again because they only last 10 years. Also, your EICRs, your electrical safety certificates, will possibly be running out as well. And it's not going to be a case of just getting someone round to tick them off and say, well, that's £150 to get a new one. There's a lot of compliance issues now because the standards for electrical safety have actually been upgraded. Therefore, you have to be more compliant. Therefore, there's a lot of rewiring and rebonding needing to get done and additional bonding needing to get done in your buy-to-let property. So that could cost several £1,000s. And we talk about this in this show and article we did yesterday. The link's on this post to that, by the way. So we talk about that in that show. The scripts here as well, actually. We post them online with the script. We also post them online with the podcast and the show itself. So you could listen to them at your leisure or watch them at your leisure or just read. Script's only about a 4-minute read. So that's that one there. The other one yesterday, before I get to the coming soon will be coming soon, if that makes sense, was I did actually a midweek show myself, the Fife Property Market Update, February 2023, where I see the Fife Property Market right now, and often the questions I usually get asked, and I've answered them as well. Also where we are in terms of, I can show you that, there's a graph there, I actually show it in the show, where the average bandings are, where supply is outstripping demand, and then demand outstrips supply in terms of by price banding, and I actually clearly demonstrate what your property is in a particular price banding in this show. I've got on here the Fife Property Market Update, or in the article itself. You'll see it in the article as well. In the show, or in the article, I actually explain, and you see the graph here, and it tells you where the best prices are and what the supply is and what the demand is for that price point in the Fife Property Market itself. So that, again, that's another article that's on there at this point, and you could read that at your leisure as well when I talk about that and talk about through there as well. And base rates have just gone up to 4% from the Bank of England. How that affects mortgage holders, everybody assumes that mortgages are just going to go up, but banks are becoming very, very competitive about mortgage rates, and actually fixed rates are beginning to drop, even though base rates have actually gone up. There's really good deals out there on fixed rate mortgages just now, but in the coming month, I suspect it will begin to drop. The Bank of England governor, Andrew Bailey, was out 2 or 3 days ago, and he said, you know, that recession we thought would happen last year and it was going to be 2 years. Well, it really didn't happen. And we actually think it's maybe only going to last 1 year now, and it's not going to be as bad as we think. Surprise, surprise. That's no surprise to me. I actually talk about that in that Fife Property Update, by the way, and what that means for you as a seller, what that means for you as a buyer, and also what it means for you as a landlord or investor. So check out that. Again, you could read the script. It's three minutes long to quickly read through it. There'll be lots and lots of good statistics and statistical information. It's all facts. So there's no, this is my guess. It's just all facts and figures, and it leads you to the conclusion that you should lead to, and make your own conclusions. I'd be interested to hear your take on it as well once you've read that. So that's on there as well. Quickly, let's talk about what's coming soon. Quite a few properties actually coming soon. Watch out for these ones. Again, as I said, with the coming soon will be this week. So coming right now. So more or less coming this week. You'll see pre-portals coming up. But if you want a wee inroad in there before the pre-portal hits the market, or just a wee heads up just about when the pre-portal is about to hit the market, so you can get in there first and see it, maybe you could make yourself in a position to proceed as well, because that's what pre-portal relies on, or you just have to get in line and wait for it to come on the websites and compete against everyone else. You can see there, the demand is outstripping supply just now. And then, you know, that's maybe an opportunity for you to do that. So coming soon, St Michael's Drive, Cooper. If you're looking for a 3-bedroom detached house, we've got one coming on. A Little Pilmuir Farm up the back of London Links. 3-bedroom detached house. There's actually 2 reception. It's a dining one as well. This is a detached house. It is an amazing inside. It's on a nice big plot as well, and it has beautiful views from the top windows in the bedrooms. And it's a really beautiful house. This will be a good one. I'll be doing a pre-portal launch this week on that for Little Plymouth up the back of London Links. Elizabeth Crescent in Newport, that'll be coming on 2-bedroom, semi-detached house in Newport. That has a golden opportunity to create off-street parking at the front. It also has a good golden opportunity to have an extension to the rear if you want. So it's a good starter home for someone, and potentially with a growing family over a period of time, and then extend the house. You could also have the 2 parking bays at the front. But the great thing is it extends right from Elizabeth Crescent right to the back road as well. So it's a huge plot it's on, and you can actually get access to your own driveway and garage at the back as well. So that's going to be coming on this week. Scooney Hill Road in St Andrews, 3-bedroom terraced house will be coming on, and I will be doing Burnside and Balmullo. I'll be doing a beautiful detached property out in the countryside. I have just finished marking up the drone footage with Andrea today. It's a way to send to get it all put together. It's an amazing property. So I'll be doing a pre-portal for launch for that this week. I think it's Tuesday, right at the back of Elizabeth Crescent as well in Newport. So that'll be in Balmullo. So if you're looking for Balmullo, let's talk about completed. Now, why do I talk about completed? Because I talk about the ones that are sold. So that means we've just sold them right now, subject to concluding missives. In other words, they've got to go through the solicitor process, which I talked about earlier on, conveyancing, to make sure it's all legal and all put to place, and people are all know what they're buying on both sides of on both parties. But these ones are completed. So when we talk about completed, we talk about keys handed over, money exchanged. I can now tell you what prices they went for. And that then gives you a really good idea about where the kind of market is right now. This was the Cribs in St Monans, 4-bedroom end terraced house. Actually sold in one day for 22% over the home report value, which represented £101,000 more. Went for £551,000. If you have a property in the St Monans area, like the area of the Cribs, and you've got a 4-bedroom terraced house or thereabouts, you never know. There's good demand for these properties, and they're going for really good prices. Beaubutts and Crail, another one, 3-bedroom semi-detached house. It actually sold in 2 weeks. It sold for 5.4% over the home report value, which represented another £12,000 extra in the seller's hands. This is a golden opportunity because it's an extra money to go and do something with their next house that they didn't expect in the first place, because most people just expect the home report value, and anything over that is a bonus for them to use for their next move. So 232,000 that one went for, and it sold in 2 weeks. 3-bedroom semi-detached house in Beaubutts and Crail. If you've got a property like that, then we want to hear from you, if that's the sort of price point you're looking at. Backdites Terrace in Falkland sold in 1 week. It sold for 4.2% over the home report value, and that represented another £6,000 more for the seller. It was £146,000 it went for, and that was Backdykes and Terrace in Falkland, sold in 1 week. New owners delighted with their home. So that gives you a really good idea about what prices are actually going for in what areas, for what type of properties. Finally, there's one thing I'm going to talk about as well, just to finish off here. Wealth Creation Show tomorrow. I'm currently talking about how I lost my first million. In the first series, the first start of the part 1 to part 10, I talked about how I made my first million. The last episode and onwards for probably the next 5 episodes, I'm going to talk about the lessons I learned when I lost my first million. They're often the better lessons that you could learn from, rather than how to make it. Because everybody seems to be able to do that, but most people end up losing it because they don't know how to keep it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow at 12:30 with Richard. We're going to be discussing how I lost my first million. So that's part 12 of the Diary of a Property Investor, and that's on the Wealth Creation Show tomorrow at 12:30 live. Now, it will be on the YouTube channel. It will be on my personal profile channel. It will be on my Facebook public profile channel, which is the official Jim Parker. It will be on, as I said, the YouTube channels. It will be on Twitter as well. It will be on Instagram Live. We'll be running Instagram Live, and we'll also be running TikTok Live as well. We'll be doing that. There seems to be a really good audience on the TikTok market in terms of property investment, and lots of questions. feel free to come on and actually, or feel free to watch and ask lots of questions, because there's sometimes the stupidest question is the question not asked. Even though you think everybody knows the answer to that, we've all done it. We've all sat in a class and when we were younger, and we've all been too embarrassed to ask the question that you think everybody else knows the answer to this. I'm just going to make myself look stupid. And in actual fact, everybody else is sitting there thinking exactly the same thing. So when you put your hand up and go, what can I ask this question? Everybody goes, thank goodness for that, because I was wanting to ask that question as well. So that is a golden opportunity on the Wealth Creation Show to ask that. And as I said as well, I'll be talking about is buy-to-let still worth it with Richard again on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in our midweek show as well. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening as well. And until next time, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.